Good morning, folks. Right, I'm just squeezing the last few days of loan on this fantastic GL1800 Honda Goldwing. Stick around after the intro and you'll see how I've been getting on with it. Roll the tape. Well, this is a first for us, folks. This is a first. If you have a little peek behind me, you'll see Mrs. Vidal up. She's a bit shy. This is the very first time she's been on the back of a bike since we had Georgia. She's never been on the back, never been on the VFR since we've had Georgia. Since she was pregnant, should I say. So actually, since the Norway tour, because that's where we found out we were pregnant, whilst I was at the top of Norway, she's never been on since then. And she saw this Goldwing and she's like, I am getting on that. So she is. She's having a touch of luxury before it goes back. She's a bit shy, so she'll not say anything, but she's enjoying it nonetheless. Well, we can't really go to Grindleford because it's too far. Well, I'll just do a loop down here through Ashover, back towards Matlock, probably find somewhere in Matlock and then come back up. Oh, and it's due to chuck it down later, so we thought we'll just get out and see what we can do here. Yeah, she's not been on for such a long time. She's got probably forgot all kind of the experience of being on the back of a bike. And on this kind of bike, I can't see it ever being any better for a pillion to be on this kind of bike. Must just be, well, you could just sit there all day long. You've got a big old armchair and a nice big comfy back. It's got heated seats. So hang on a minute. I'll just put a heated seat on for her. But yeah, I want to just say a last few words about this fantastic Goldwing. You know, we're fresh back from the Wildbad Weekender. Thank you very much to every single person that came. I'm not going to make this video about the Weekender, but I will say I took this bike on that trip because we had all our VFRs in the marquee, all lit up in all their glory. So we had this bike. I rode this bike to the venue, and Egon rode Brian's Harley Davidson because that'll have to go back at some point, won't it? He did actually tell us at the weekend, said I would actually like to go on my bike at some point. I think secretly he's loved the fact that I've been riding it and making videos on it. Thank you, Brian. Thank you. I have fell in love with that bike. Anyway, I digress. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so anyway, I took this bike to the Weekender. So when we first arrived for the departure lounge with all the riders for the big ride out, people were like, oh, I thought you'd have come on a VFR. And I'm like, you just hang fire, pal. You'll see. You'll see. But then people were saying, like, they were coming up to me saying, right, what do you think of this then? Like quite negative, negative. And I'm like, well, you'll see. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, I know what they look like, and I personally think this looks stunning. The absolute epitome of luxury. I would say 90% of people that spoke to me about the bike was talking like negatively about it. Like, well, what do you think about this then? As if I were going to say, well, it's a big old daft thing. But you know, I just thought what I'd do when we went on a 100-mile ride, and we're doing the drop-off system. So I'd constantly got different people behind me. Drop-off system is, I digress again. Drop-off system is basically if you've got a load of people behind you, you got a front rider, me, back rider, Egon, constant. Everybody in between are markers. So having that amount of people, at least 150, probably more, at your disposal for markers on every junction. So we had a 5-mile convoy. Check that out. 5-mile convoy. It was amazing. But you got riders dotting every single junction, so you can't get lost. And so it was a constant change of people behind me. So every time I had a chance to do it and it was safe, you know, pull up to a crossroads or whatever, or anywhere I could basically show off this bike, I would just nail it off the junction. And then people would come up to me later and go, oh my God, I can't believe how quick that bike is. I'm like, told you, I told you. And at one stage, we're going around a really big, again, all safe. I'm not into doing stuff that's dangerous, obviously. Big, really big, wide right-hand sweeper. I hung off the bike as I come round, hung off it and scraped my foot on the floor. Not the pegs, my foot scraped on the floor. And I thought, that'll do. I just scraped my foot on a Goldwing. You know, I'm sure there are more talented riders out there that are going, your foot? That's easy. Anyway, it's not for me, it isn't. Especially on this big old Butte. But oh my God, honestly, it is incredible. And it's got 4 riding modes. You've got your rain mode, for obvious reasons, economy mode, and that basically will just look after your fuel, and it'll keep your gear changes down to the, you know, it'll put you in the top gear straight away almost. It's not spirited at all. The best one for me I found is tour mode, and in obviously it's a DCT box, so again I've not been using that on the manual setting. I've just been leaving it in DCT because DCT is fantastic. This is the second bike now I've ridden properly with DCT, the first one being the Africa Twin, and I'm telling you, those of you that have never tried DCT, you have to try it, because it's honestly, if I was buying a bike that had it or didn't have it, it would definitely be it, definitely, no question. There's no question that I would choose manual over DCT. It's brilliant, it really is fantastic. So if you do get a chance, just go and take a test ride on a bike with DCT, and I promise you, within half an hour you'll be converted. And if you're not, I'd be interested to know why. So there's tour mode, which I find is the perfect sweet spot. Super powerful, you know, it's very, very, very quick, very quick. But then you drop it into sport mode. And again, I've been saying to people all over the weekend, if you put this in sport mode, plus a talented rider, i.e. not me, this bike would keep up with anything. I'm sure it would. Honestly, I'm not even joking, I find sport mode a little bit too aggressive. I'll switch it in a minute just to show you, but I would just stick in tour the whole time. The stereo's amazing. The technology is amazing. I just love it. You've got a glove box down to your right hand side. That's where I've been putting my batteries. Obviously your panniers and everything are fixed, and they're all by a little sensitive touchpad that will only open if the key is in your pocket and you're in the vicinity. Obviously it's keyless, so just keep your key locked in your pocket. Can't go wrong. Absolutely brilliant. Just one second. Is your bum getting hot? Do you want it off? Do you want to wave, say hello? I know, it's amazing, isn't it? Laura on the back. I bet a Brit, a blonde, a bike are shitting themselves. That went even in sport mode. I'm going to show that what sport mode is now. Back in tour mode. Yeah, electronic suspension, so you just tap into it, whether it's just rider and luggage, rider pillion and luggage, and it adjusts everything to suit. Really is beautiful, beautiful. And everyone's been saying, I bet it's super heavy. I mean, it is super heavy. That's why it's got reverse on it. But when you're riding it, a lot of people are like, oh, what's it like round corners? Like, honestly, if you get a chance to ride one, you would never think a bike of this size could be anywhere near as agile as it is. The engine is sublime. It's just so, it purrs so beautifully. It's an 1800 for God's sake. It's more like an executive car than a bike. And it just does everything in style. It's perfectly comfy, isn't it? I'm testing out my new Kevlars today. I've had the same Kevlars for about 75 years. I think I bought my Kevlars when, where did I get them from? Do you know, I can't even remember where I got them from. I think there was an event on at Donington. Might have been the British Superbikes or something. But this must have been 2011. Honestly, and I've had them since then. So I thought it's about time I got some new ones. So I'm testing out my first ever set of Furigans. Never had Furigan before. Furigan Steeds. And they look cool. They look really cool. They like, make my ass look good. Only thing is, I'm going to have to get some what's-its now, like decent boots, like ankle boots, not your full boot, because I'm having to, it's stretchy material, but I'm having to like stretch it over my boots and then pull it down, which still looks alright, but I could do with some like ankle boots for summer and just keep the actual normal boots for winter, you know. But yeah, I would strongly suggest, if anybody's out there on the fence about trying a Goldwing, and I know this fits into a very niche bracket of people. You know, you've got to like a touch of luxury and you've got to be wealthy because they're stupidly expensive. I mean, I say stupidly expensive. You know, the epitome of luxury. So, I suppose to that kind of clientele, it's not expensive, but to a young buck like myself, it's expensive. And this is approaching. This bike's approaching 40,000 quid. This is when music's embarrassing. On my back looking for a fight. She's like Agave, too much tequila. She's getting embarrassed up there. That's the other thing. I first thought, or I've always thought beforehand, you know, these bikes that have radios on like this, that it's a novelty thing. Had I not been vlogging, because having music playing like that whilst you're vlogging would cause massive implications to putting your video on YouTube, because you're going to have copyright claims all the time, so it looks like you're trying to rip some music off. So it's a bit of a nightmare for that. But if you're not into that, I have had this music on 100% of the time that I have not been vlogging, if that makes sense. I'd just have it on all the time. I would have it on all the time. The speakers are lovely, really, really good, chunky, really beautiful deep bass tones. Your heated seated grips, built-in sat-nav. What more do you want? What more do you want for luxury? You know, if you ever went touring on this, you would just be so fresh. Like I say, if you went touring with all lads on different, but you know, a lot more sportier bikes, or even what we go touring on, you know, sports tourers, you would seem like you'd have no problem whatsoever keeping with the pack. I mean, it makes it look like this would be struggling to keep up with it. I'm telling you, you would be able to get away from most of the people that you go touring with. This is an 1800 for God's sake, 1800 flat 6-cylinder. I could easily go on tour leading a pack of, well, we're going to Pecos, that's the next trip for us. We're going to the Pecos early October, as we always do, and we've got 17 riders on it, and there's all kinds of good bikes on it, obviously, and I'll be leading it, and it I could lead it and people would struggle to keep up with me, and that's me not being super talented. Once years ago we used to ride, and a couple of blokes used to come with us. Can't remember the names now. One of them had a Goldwing. We always used to say, Jesus, he don't hang about on that Goldwing, does he? But at the time you're thinking like, it's just a massive big heavy bike, slow bike, and he must be really either super talented or on the edge of insane to ride it how he did. But it's not at all. Now I've had the experience myself, it's not like that at all. It's easy, it's so easy to ride. Gaz said, went out riding, he said I've been riding this easily the same kind of speed and style that I'd ride my VFR. It just shows you, because to me it just feels like I'm riding just enjoying being out on it in luxury, you know. I'm not pushing it in any way whatsoever. It's just one beautiful bit of kit, and I thank Honda UK very much for giving me the opportunity to make some review videos on it. Yeah, like I say, sadly it's got to go back soon. I've had it for 2 weeks. I'm not sure how many miles I've put on it, probably 500 or something like that. I'm not a Bruce smart. It was lovely to see Bruce and TMF at my Warbad weekender this past weekend. Thank you, gents, for coming. Much appreciated. Taking time out of their equally busy lives to come and share the love. What about up there? There's a cafe up there in Willersley Castle. If you want to try that, it'd be nicer. Nice setting. Yeah, there, look. Shall we try it? Let's pull up for some breakfast, and we'll go back and get our little princess. I wonder how Laura's first experience on the bike's been. I mean, I don't know how being on the back of this could be anything other than just absolute perfection. I don't know if they do breakfast up here, but it's a very nice setting if they do. Stay there. Okay. Yeah. Oh, there we go. What's your first impressions like on that then? First time you've been on bike since? So first time you've been on since Georgia?
Comfy, I could have dropped off.
But did you feel safe and everything?
Yeah, because you know I don't like it without anything on the back, but yeah. So,
and did you hold on to this or did you just rest?
No, I didn't really have to hold on.
No. What about when we're going fast? How did you feel then? Yeah, but how did you feel?
Alright.
No, doesn't feel dangerous, does it?
Yeah. You must go anywhere where they take it over.
Are you nervous talking on camera?
I don't like looking at the camera. I don't like talking on camera.
Like I say, I bet a Brita Blonda biker shitting themselves. Anyway, folks, should we say bye? Goodbye.